Old myths die hard, and this particular one has had a long life. Do we really use just 10% of our brain? Perhaps it's because it gives us hope. If 90% of our brain is free, well, we could do so much more with it, like solve complex problems, multitask on an epic scale, or just levitate cats.
For the real answer, all you have to do is, well, think for a second.
The brain is one of the most costly body parts to maintain. It's only 1% of our body weight, but uses 50% of our glucose reserve and 20% of the oxygen that we breathe.
Spending 90% of all this on cells that have no use would be totally inefficient. In fact, most of it is working away most of the time.
Indeed, even daily life requires our brains to work extensively. As neuroscientist Sophie Scott tells the BBC's More or Less programme.
In terms of sort of the way that it functions, your brain is working away all sorts of things you don't even necessarily realise that you're doing. So talking to you now, I'm sitting upright in a chair, I'm not falling to the ground. And that's actually requiring quite a lot of postural control, which is occurring in my brain. And I'm also talking to you, listening to you, looking at you, moving my hands. I'm doing all sorts of different actions, which are all, and perceiving all sorts of different things, which are all being controlled by my brain. And on top of that, I'm thinking about what I want to say, I'm thinking about all sorts of other things that are going on immediately. That's still all being underpinned by your brain. So there's all sorts of conscious and unconscious stuff going on absolutely all the time.
Perhaps we shouldn't think about brain capacity, but how our brain changes. New skills don't take up brain space that wasn't used before.
It's all about neuroplasticity. When we do or learn new things, we train our brain to act differently. We force it to create new connections within neurons and to lose the ones we don't need. Efficient, eh? But where does this 10% of our brain myth come from? Sophie Scott shines a light on its history.
It actually comes from a self-help book from nearly 100 years ago, and the idea there was it was sort of saying you can be more, you can do more with your life. And the particular unfortunate example they gave was you're only using 10% of the brain, you can do so much more if you use more of your brain. It seems to be absolutely endemic, and it crops up in popular culture.
So, our brains are already amazing multitasking superheroes.
Maybe we should think about how we can mould, transform, and share it with others to achieve great things.